Got a big house, that's my preference. Sitting pretty at the top, Mount Everest. Yeah, bossy, dripping sauce.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. That meeting was great, but weird.
That meeting was interesting. Come on, guys, jump on this conversation.
Jumping on this conversation. So we're having a debate right now about how we were not anticipating the changes that happened in 2023.
Yeah.
See, what were people thinking?
I mean, we thought we were going to come into this year with a housing crash. Everybody thought the world was going to kind of turn over.
All the houses were going to come to the market, all these different things. So you know what? Usually I would take you guys somewhere and we would get something to eat, but you know what? This time, I'm not going to say this is love and real estate. I'm going to say this is a market update. Let's go. Oh, this is cute.
It is.
And switch. Yo, okay guys, well, get in on this conversation. So let me tell you a quick story of what's actually happening in our real business, because I know you guys know us for all our experiences and we say that we're real estate professionals, but we're actually going to give you kind of a real behind the scenes look of what's happening in our business right now.
Yeah, so this past weekend we actually put 2 houses on the market and we saw some of the same things we saw last year. What do I mean by that? We saw multiple offers, we saw over list, we even saw some contingencies were being waived. These are some of the scenarios that we saw in that red hot market in the last couple of years.
So then this article by Yahoo Finance actually came out. It's right here on the screen right here. Came out in April 2023. And long and short, it's a good snapshot of what's happening in the nation. And it made me think, how does this article compare to everything that's happening in our market right now? So we're gonna go into like 5 key points that I thought were really interesting. And we're gonna dissect that in full information. So let's get into it. All right.
So first of all, we're going to talk about pricing.
Okay.
So we are in the DC Metro. That includes parts of Maryland, DC, and Northern Virginia.
Okay.
Specifically, we're talking about, parts of Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax, and obviously DC proper.
Right.
In our area, you're going to see average price points run around $720,000.
Now, that does not mean that just because you're purchasing in this area means that you have to go above $720,000 or higher. You can actually go a little bit lower. So in Prince George's County, how much is the value?
It's somewhere around 450.
Okay. In Montgomery County?
We're mid sevens.
And then in Washington, D.C.?
900.
And then Northern Virginia?
We're somewhere in the low sevens.
Okay, so you see that there is a plethora of home values around the entire DMV. But we're going to address this article. Let's jump into that.
Big bands feeling generous. Got a big house, that's my preference.
So our first one is that Yahoo Finance predicts that prices might come down. And I want to really emphasize that might, because going back to what's happening in our business right now is that a number of properties are actually being bidded above list. Let me explain. We're going back to a pre-COVID world in a way when it comes to how houses are actually being judged upon their merit, okay? So that means that if the house presents well and is priced well, yes, you may see a situation where there are multiple offers, anywhere from like 5 to 8, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. But if a house is a mess, well, okay condition, yeah, then it's probably going to sit. Now this is where the might comes into play. See, what I'm noticing is that people do bid above, they ratify, they may pull away some of their contingencies, but then what happens is that the appraiser comes in and actually adjusts that home value back down, okay? So that's where the might come down piece is, because bidding does happen, but that appraiser, because out of our 12, what, a third of our properties, when we went to appraisal points, actually brought the value back down. Right. So that's really interesting.
Second point is inventory might increase. So it really depends where we coming from, right? So last year we had all-time low supply. We were talking about a month or less. So in a normal market, you have 6 months of supply. So coming from all-time lows, yes, we're going to see an increase, and which we have this year. We're coming into the spring and summer market, and we have seen more inventory, and this is good, right? Because this means that you have more choices to actually pick from. So another point is that a sense of normalcy will return.
Thank God.
And what we mean by that is during COVID, or in the last couple of years, I would say, literally when your buyer wanted to see a home, you would actually have to write the offer before you went to go see it. And as soon as you were done showing, rush back in your car, type up the offer, and waive all terms, all contingencies. You really were giving the shirt off your back. That's how crazy it was.
That's how bad.
Yeah, so now we're coming into a market where you can look at a home, you can sleep on it, you can talk with your significant other and your family, and then make a decision, right? So we're excited because it's becoming a little bit more equilibrium.
I love that.
Yeah. So another point was that buyers will warm up to higher interest rates. So you kind of think about historically where interest rates have been in the last 40 years. It's been around high 5s, 6s, right? Yep. So the last couple of years were just, I would say, anomaly. And it's because we had a global pandemic. That's why we had rates in the 2, 3, 4s. So what we're seeing now is that people are understanding that life is still happening, right? They need somewhere to live. So instead of paying all of that money to rent, people are coming back and wanting to own again.
And then finally guys, buyers are finally going to get some leverage. That's what the article is predicting. And honestly, I am beginning to see that with my clients as I'm putting out bids for them. So the biggest thing is that they're able to do home inspection contingencies. And they're going to be able to do appraisal contingencies, and this is the big one. FHA financing is finally coming back. So pre-COVID or in COVID, there was no way that you could actually present an offer with FHA financing. It was all conventional. And now,
Even cash.
And my goodness, I've never seen so much cash. In 2020 to 2021, I was like, where did all this come from? Y'all are rich. Y'all are rich. Oh my gosh. But now we're in a space where buyers actually have an equal say in the conversation of real estate. And that's what I'm super excited for. What was that point that Yahoo Financing, you said? A sense of normalcy. It's coming back. So guys, we have to get back to work. This was a quick little lunch, but we have to jump back into our meetings, and I clearly have no lunch in me, so I need to go grab some lunch with this little bit of time. But let's just do a really recap of all the things that we talked about. So we talked about that buyers are going to get more leverage. So that means that buyers are going to be able to negotiate a little bit more. It looks like rates are going to actually stabilize. So I don't anticipate us ever rolling back to the 2s and the 3s, or are we going to sit still for a minute? The market is predicted to actually sit still. And then more inventory. Yes, we are going to have more houses on the market than we had in the past 2 years. So guys, honestly, I'm looking forward to the market. Are you?
I am. I'm really looking forward to buyers getting an equal opportunity to be able to find something. I mean, buying a home is the biggest purchase you're ever going to make. And we don't believe that should be rushed. We believe you should be able to take your time and be able to meditate on it.
Every buyer deserves a fair chance when it comes to investing into one of the largest assets they're ever going to buy. But you know what? I want to hear from you. See, I've talked about all these different things that are happening in the market, and I'm personally super motivated that things are getting better. But what do you think? I would love to see your comments here below on what the spring market means for you, or how you feel about this upcoming spring market. And I don't really mention this often, but we should. We help people buy and sell real estate in the Maryland, DC region, and we do it on a very grand scale. Let me tell you, 30 million in sales. That's a lot of buyers and sellers. That's not a joke, okay? Go ahead and look on the receipts of that. Just say, all right. Well, anyway, I'm hungry, and I have many phone calls to do, and my phone's been vibrating ever since we've been here. So as always, don't forget to comment and subscribe. We'll talk soon. My name is Amanda.
A.D.
And of course, bye.